Hey guys, in this video, I did a little discussion with some other Genji mains. Shout out to Mike, Jawbreaker, and Versa for coming up and having this discussion with me. I'd also like to know your thoughts down in the comments. Enjoy the video. Have a good day. All right, guys. So the point of this discussion is we are Genji mains. I've been a Genji main for a very long time. I'm sure we have some sort of idea of a perk that we'd like to see added and like how it would interact
Uh-huh.
with the game and such. So this is just talking about that perk and like our personal ideas that we got. I'm allowing you. You guys can go first. I'll go last. So you guys can like choose between you two who wants to go first.
Ja, that's all you. You can go first. I'm gonna set this up right now.
Dude, the main thing I can think of is base bleed, low key, because right now, um, I think that there's a lot of there's like a lot of like people out there who say like, oh yeah, the bleed perk is just better, but then again, it's also like both perks are just conditional, right? Unlike every other character in the game that just has a better perk. Like Genji's the only one where it's like, well, yeah, whether you take either or, it doesn't even change that much. Like the only thing that the current bleed one changes is the fact that with nano blade you can one shot kind of, but
hmm
even
hmm
then it's not exactly consistent, and so that's why like I think Genji should have something that it should have like the perk, like somehow like for example Cass, he has the perk which is like silver bullet. Genji should have the perk, which is base bleed. You know,
Uh-huh.
uh, either that, alternatively, like put it directly into his kit and then give him another perk. If I had to say like an extra perk, maybe I don't know. See, I wanted to say where like this the in the stadium the swing blade one where it launches out a projectile.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking that, and then you nerf the
Me
damage
too.
of the actual Dragon Blade itself.
hmm
So you can have like combos where it's just like swing projectile dash and then swing with a base, you know, sword, and that would be enough to kill, And it's also like and it makes the blade a lot better. It doesn't make it so like ridiculously committal as it is now. Like Genji's like blade is one of the most committal things in the game, and it's like if you're gonna blade, you have to either blade all the way or you just don't do shit with blade. There's literally no in
It's a
between.
Genji perk discussion.
Every character in the game with their ultimates has an in between. Even like I'm trying to think of even Cassidy. Cassidy can just use his ultimate as a pressure tool, but he also can just use it as like a reload option, which I mean sounds like kind of ridiculous. But for example, like if you're trying to melt down a tank, that is absolutely valid to do. I've
hmm
done it before where you right click, then you roll right click and then you alt right click and that decimates tanks. But that's like a free pick, At least he can do that. Genji can't. Like if you whip out a blade in front of a tank, he's gonna absolutely demolish you.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's kind of like
discussing
the
perks
difference.
and
That's
things
what I
we'd like to
think.
see
I
added.
think like a projectile thing on Blade would probably like be the perk for him.
Yeah. I have some notes. That was definitely what I was thinking. I didn't know if it was gonna be too broken. I'd like the idea of nerfing Blade, but would that be like a part of the perk? Would be like, oh, Blade does less damage, but you do projectiles now. Would that be like
New
part of
perks,
it?
and how it would
Like,
like interact with the game.
Yeah,
or
it's
nerf?
like what you call it? It's like Echo Sticky, where the
Yeah.
stickies do less damage per bullet. However, more bullets come out in general,
Yeah. Okay.
like
Yeah, I
that.
had that as my that would be a major perk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a big perk.
My take on that, because you
That was
said you
pretty
feel like
good.
the damage would need to be lowered. I feel like that wouldn't be the case at all because I feel like Blade is already pretty lackluster, especially with how committal it is, like you said.
Mhm.
So definitely like additional perk on top of that. I mean, additional perk bleed on top of that would be perfect for what he needs, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few perks here. I was thinking maybe this would be a minor perk, but he deflects while he dashes. Thoughts?
He flex
Thoughts?
while
Questions?
dashes.
I like that. I like
Uh,
that.
I
Uh,
mean,
what do you
see, I
think?
was thinking about something like Genji gains unstoppable during dash. meaning he can't be CC'd out of dash.
Wait, that's kind of fire though.
Like how what you call it? How Queen has that one perk where when she uses ult, she gains unstoppable,
Oh
and
yeah.
then like
Oh
it gives
really? I didn't know
yeah.
that was a perk.
Um,
Okay.
or was it? I don't remember. It was some. It was like the shadow, or I forgot what it was again. But she gains unstoppable.
Yeah, she can't be
Hmm.
stopped during her ult, and it reduces like all of her cooldowns by 6 seconds.
Yeah, that.
Or just shout. It's either all cooldowns or just shout.
Yeah. I was thinking Genji might have something like that. Um, it makes getting in and out like way better. You know, like he can pick either that or
And he
maybe
can't get
like
CC'd, yeah.
so yeah, something like that, or maybe like something
Not that
like
he can't take damage, but he can't be stunned, which is nice.
yeah, maybe they make it so like it's like you have to pick either between dash bleed or you take unstoppable on dash,
Hmm.
and you know like both are good. Both would be good, and I mean if that's what they're aiming for, like that would be like a good thing because they're both equally as good. Well, depends. Of course, if your team is hard rolling, you're probably going to pick the dash bleed. If your team isn't rolling and you need more, how do I say, to get out a lot more, then you'd probably pick the unstoppable perk.
Yeah, a couple. So I had the deflect while dash. I like the immunity, the like the golden form that Orisa has during dash. Um, that's nice for sure. And then I had the energy slashes coming out of the Dragon Blade, obviously, and then I was thinking, what if he had this might be a little niche and maybe not that good, but when he sheathes or his blade or unsheathes his blade, maybe something happens. Like maybe he deflects like all around him, or maybe his like a speed boost. I don't know, like some, because he's very vulnerable when he pulls out blade or like or puts it back in. Maybe something could happen there. I
Uh,
don't know. Maybe that just sucks though. Maybe that sucks because it's like very little time that even happens.
I mean, like there should still be counterplay, right? Like when a tank uses, if you like you're gonna be whipping out your blade in front of five people, then yeah, you deserve to get CC'd or just straight up dead out of it. It's the same thing with like Queen ult. You know how there's like a beginning part. Even if it gains unstoppable midway through, the beginning is still stoppable. Like she doesn't gain unstoppable until she actually starts dashing forward. So it should be something like that, like during the actual animation, there's still counterplay, you should still
Oh
be
yeah, there's
punished for
still
making
that
stupid
downtime.
plays,
Yeah,
you know.
true.
If
That
we
kind of
baby the fuck
That's
out of
falls.
Genji, like everyone's gonna like all the bad players are gonna get on Genji, then everyone's gonna start complaining. Like Genji should still be the top of the top when it comes to, uh skill expression.
mm-hmm.
Well, with the sheathing and the unsheathing, there is the wall tech. I mean, the wall climb tech. So, I mean, I guess. But also
Yeah,
at the
true.
same
Yeah, but
time,
you have to
you're not
limit your
always
movement,
going to be in a
like
position where you can wall climb at the same time.
but you have to limit like where you're positioned for like the wall. You have, in the first place, to
True.
stay near your wall. If you're against like a Cassidy or something, and he sees you start wall climbing, it's just gonna be the easiest thing ever for him to hit. And plus,
Right.
you're putting yourself near a wall. You're basically backing yourself up against a corner. That's like one of the downsides of it.
Yeah, with the limited mobility.
What do you mean?
Because there's like not always even a place you can wall climb without it like being weird because of how messed up wall climb is.
Yeah, how fucking bad it is sometimes. Hold up though. Big thought. Wall no, what is it called? Ledge dash. I mean,
Ledge dash?
let's bring let's
Are
bring
you talking
that
about
back.
that like? Are you talking about that one fucking like Israeli tech that you could dash onto the ledge, hold F, or like hold space, and then you go absolutely
Uh,
flying across the map? Bro, dude, that was genuinely like one of the most cancer thing ever. Like people would set up Nanoblade from like halfway through like Esperanza or something, and then just like I was saying Esperanza,
you
fucking
could just launch
Volskaya.
across the map
Yeah, they would launch at the
up
top
into
of
the
the fucking
skybox.
barrier of Volskaya and just like out of nowhere run Nanoblade through your entire team.
I'd say they need to
So it's
put it to
like
what it was before, where they didn't need to be below
I don't
half.
think
You just need to
probably
get an
not.
elimination.
I mean, I do remember that they tried experimenting with call it. It was his first ever one, which was acrobatics, which was really really
Yeah,
shitty
that was
perk.
really bad. It reset his jump when he dashed, right, or
For
something.
a perk,
You wall climb
it
or
was pretty
dash or anything.
bad, but I actually love that. I feel like that needs to be in his base kit.
Uh, uh,
What if, well, not even that. Maybe
I don't
when he
think it would
got a
change
kill.
that much.
What if when he got a kill, it reset his jump?
What? No,
No.
not a kid. Uh, I don't know how that would make much sense. I mean, what if there was a perk where it gives him, refunds him all of his cooldowns rather than just
Hmm.
just dash? You know, like something like that would be nice.
Yo,
You
back
know,
to back deflex would
but
be crazy.
I
Yeah, that
think
would
we're
be.
like, dude, everything, all of Genji's perks rely way too much on him getting the first kill. He doesn't have anything. Every other character has something to like some perk, something, anything to net
Hmm.
them that first kill. Cassidy has silver bullet, you know, he shoot him
Power
once on
matrix
the
and
head
base
or
kit.
something that does like over half of their health, even like above his like whatever his whatchamacallit, his fall off distance, it still does that consistent damage. Like he holds right click, he head taps you across the map. That damage is still there. Genji doesn't have that.
True.
Hmm. What
So
about the stadium perk where when someone's turned around and like their backside's facing you, bonus damage on their backside? Because I'm thinking that would be a cool perk. That would probably be what, major? Because that's like bonus damage on their backside. That's quite a bit of like the one shot combos would be insane. But
That would be
uh,
beautiful because when Stadium first came out, I made my Stadium Power video on YouTube. That video did really
yeah,
good, and I don't
that's
know,
what I'm
I
saying.
found that build very fun before they nerfed it.
Yeah.
melee on someone's
Even,
back that doing like 2 times more damage or something would be really nice.
that would be broken. Not
I wouldn't say it'd
not
be
like two times.
broken
That would be
because let's be honest, Genji's so noticeable, and this is
yeah.
gonna lead into the
They do turn
conversation that I
around.
was gonna have about my perk. I feel like Genji's ninja side is not explored like at all. We
Mm,
always see the cybernetic side with the abilities in Stadium and so, but we never see his ninja side. And I would like to take a trip back to the cinematic. You guys remember when he had that smoke bomb thing he threw down and just vanished? I would
Hmm.
like a major
yeah.
perk where he like throws that down and it silences his footsteps and increases his movement speed
Yeah.
and
Some
throw that on
stealth
like a
mechanic.
10-second cooldown.
Yeah,
And
why
then
not? Yeah, why not just give him a perk where he maybe I don't know. I don't think he uses smoke bombs, but he
Oh,
makes himself
yeah.
invisible for
Yeah.
3 seconds, and on occasions you see black footsteps right underneath him. It won't be like frequent, but think
Okay.
of it
That's
like
tough.
footsteps, like Yoru from Valorant, but like old, like first iteration of Yoru. You know those like footsteps on the ground that would like appear like that. Think of it like that, but it's not like frequent like that. It's like the occasionally like one footstep, and it's like one small sound effect, something like that, you know. So it allows him to go in, but like it also like, you know, rewards the enemy team if they hear it, you know. It lets them actually be more alert of where the Genji is, and it also explores his ninja side.
yeah, like I said, he just he's so noticeable. He's so easy to kill. Like blading is so obvious. I feel like it's just so obvious when a Genji is going to blade, and then every
Mm,
team they're throwing cooldowns at you, and there's so many different cooldowns in the game that you can only wait out so many of them, and you're still gonna get hit with so many other ones. It's just inevitable. So I would like to see
Mm-hmm.
something to help him with that ninja side, help him become deadlier and sneakier.
Think basically Sombra Invis, but it only lasts for 3 seconds, and
yeah.
occasionally
It's
you
like
see like a
barely
black
anything.
something on the footstep. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
like the
like
footsteps thing. That's sick.
Now that smoke bomb thing though, that literally ties into the cinematic as well. Like maybe it can blind somebody slightly for a bit, maybe I don't know, or just keep him, make his
Or
footsteps
like when he's
quieter.
fighting Hanzo, and you can't really see him until like his lights light up, like the lights on his cybernetics. You can only see like the lights there, or something. I don't know.
I feel like his silhouette would
So he's
be
like
still
quiet.
noticeable, but I do see where you're going with that. Could you go more into that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when he's fighting Hanzo, he's quiet. We could have like a stealth mechanic, maybe some footsteps, whatever. But like maybe he's like darkened, or maybe in like dark areas of the map
When
you
you get
can't really like
pregnant,
see
cat
him
claws out permanently, put in
until
the
maybe
position.
And then when the invis
Yo,
like
you're
comes up or
cooking,
something,
Stroke.
his
You're cooking.
cybernetics glow first, and then he's visible or something like the cinematic was or something, and then you can like see him fully, or maybe like he can drop down from a certain height and he's like invisible in the certain fall time that he has or something. I don't know. There could be a lot of ideas for stealth, but I see what you
Wait,
mean by
what
you
if we
know
gave him an empowered melee? Like, you
what
know
do you
how
mean?
Lucio uses wall rides to empower his boob? Why? How
Yeah,
about we gave that to Genji, but instead of that, it basically like as you, I guess, there could be something that charges it up. Maybe you do more damage. The more damage you get, the more you charge it up. And at max charge, you have a like like that one Hanzo, the Hanzo Mythicus has a dragon swirling around his arm. Maybe
yeah,
Genji
yeah.
has like a dragon swirling around his arm, and then when he melees, he throws the dragon forward and does 25 damage, and it's like a projectile. It's basically think of it like the Hanzo dragon, but mini and for Genji, and it's on his melee, but he has to charge it up. So you
Right.
melee, dash in, do your right click, whatever, and when the dragon hits, it passes through them and does 25 damage. It won't do a lot of damage, but it confirms kills a lot more consistently, and you can stack
Yeah.
it with your abilities.
You mean how we
So
That'd
if
saw
be
you want to use
Genji
like melee
transfer the
or link,
dragons
for
with his
example.
blade? Or
What
guide
do you
the
mean?
dragons
yes.
with his blade when Hanzo shot them at him?
Yeah, yeah, like that.
Yeah,
But the thing is, he has it on his like melee instead, so he's able to fire it forward at full charge, and the dragon passes through the enemy, does like 25 damage, and it's actually
but you
like
can't shoot
makes
during
sense.
that time, so you can't have like that one shot combo.
Well, the thing
You're
is, when
cooking,
you
Stroke,
melee, you
cooking.
can't act at all. In
Yeah,
general,
but
when
you
you
can
melee,
shoot
you
your
just can't act at
shurikens.
all. So that's why I'm saying like when you if so for example, if you want to go for a one shot combo, you press melee to throw out the dragon,
Press
and it
and
goes like
hold.
off cooldown or whatever, and then you dash
Mm.
in, and then do your one shot combo or whatever. But something like that actually, makes sense, and and it also will require aim. It's going to be like a slow dragon, so it's going to require, it's going to require aim to actually hit,
I'm liking that.
and it
I'm
still
Yeah.
liking
gives them
that.
a good skill expression while giving him a decent like ability that does damage and that actually he can like
Mhm.
work off of.
What's
For
up,
example, like
Devilish?
how Cassidy can work off of Silver Bullet, or I don't know, Ash can work off of like dynamites behind the wall, pressure an entire team because you hit a dynamite through the wall with a remote detonation or something. Genji can
Right.
probably do the same by just launching a dragon into the back line that does 25 damage. Obviously, there's going to be some like something you need to fulfill. For example, like you need to deal like 500 damage before you get the dragon back, for example. So that's why you like poke, poke,
Just
poke,
talking
right?
Genji
It's
right
not just
now.
gonna be poke simulator where you're just poking the enemy backline till fucking oblivion and pray to God that someone gets half HP and you dash on and try to kill them, right? You can actually make your own openings by dealing poke damage, and then when you have your dragon charged up, you launch it you use your like melee to launch the dragon forward, dash in, and then get like a secure pick, and it also keeps the high skill expression. It's just an extra little thing he has to engage off of.
No,
It's
I
unfortunate that
totally
Marvel
agree.
Rivals did the. It's unfortunate that what the, sorry, that the Marvel Rivals did the whole thing where you can combo ults, cause like a combo between like Hanzo and Genji with like their dragons would be sick, but like, it just sucks that Rivals did that first.
Yeah, because like my
I was just
biggest
thinking about that when
problem,
you're
or one of my biggest problems with Genji right now, is he's kind of being reduced to a poke character. That's just not how he's played at all. That
Exactly.
like
exactly he's
his
a
his
sniper.
dive aspect is just dying. It's just dying. You have to either
It
hope
is.
your teammate is doing enough damage to get somebody at low enough that you can feed off of their scraps. Like he has his like deadliness is just so low right now.
That's
Hmm.
why when you have an ability, like for example, the melee dragon, where off of cooldown you can launch a little dragon forward and it like passes through the enemy, it deals damage to them, And for example, if it passes, it's basically like a mini Hanzo ult, but it's like a
Yeah,
very very
that's what I was
small,
thinking.
and it's hard to hit,
It
and
winds
it
up,
makes
yeah.
sense because in the animation he actually does that. So like, it would make sense.
Hmm.
That's and he can create his own opportunity with like a little bit of extra damage and stuff. I think that would be like probably my favorite perk if he had something like that.
Yeah, like
It
a
could also be
dragon
crazy
strike
unique too.
melee thing. Because his dragon is based around melee, so I can completely see like a deadlier melee if you for like meet some requirements.
Yeah, or if the alternative, which most Genjis probably do, is like not shoot the dragon before dashing. Rather than that, they'll go in first. They'll dash in first, and then they'll do right click melee, the regular combo. And then they have like the dragon that gets shot out. Maybe that confirms a kill if they hit all hit their shots. And yeah, the Genji should get rewarded for hitting all the shots. It is a high skill expression to do so. It makes no sense that a character like Cassidy can hang 500 meters in his backline, deal half of your HP because he decided to look at you. You know, if a character like that can get that much reward from being so far away, Genji should get the equal amount of value by being close, since he is a close ranged hero. It just makes no sense for him to be brawled out by characters like Cass or Ash.
Well, that's why I
It's
like the invis part. The invis is cool. Like if it's just like 3 seconds, like you said, even less maybe. Just some time for him to maybe come from like left flank to like through main to the right flank or something. Like some split second of invis where he can find like an off angle or whatever, like a different position where he's not getting destroyed instantly by a
I
hit
think
scan or
I think as a major perk, having like the decision between the smoke bomb or the melee dragon would actually be like get Genji like crazy, like way more people back to playing him. You have a decision to either be invisible for 3 seconds with a smoke bomb, try to get on the back line. And if you use an ability, it gets canceled. If maybe you get hit out of it, it gets canceled, you know, off of maybe like a 10, 12 second cooldown.
I'm
Or you
liking
could pick
10.
a
10 sounds
melee
good.
dragon, do extra damage in general instead of having two dogshit perks that like half the community is pretty much divided on, you know,
mm,
Yeah, not even lying. I feel like both the Dragon Blade healing and meditation should be base kit.
kinda. But I don't
that's a
know. I
little
think
I
I
don't know,
think giving
not both.
characters passive healing like that, bro, lowers the skill expression like crazy. That's why
Yeah,
characters like Zen just like sit down a corner and hold left click. He has passive healing from being a support. He has the healing from having shields. Like his shield regeneration starts way faster. So he survives a lot of fights he's not supposed to, because the way the abilities and the passives interact with each other just like heals him like crazy. When you give that to a DPS character, that significantly lowers their skill expression. So like.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And that like comes along with the issue that a lot of Genji players do have is engaging. Because like I said, once you commit, you're probably not going to escape. Let's
mm,
be honest. Like you're just gonna get
hmm,
flashbang, headshot with silver bullet, cooked, hit anti sleep. So engaging, especially without getting enough damage off to get your one shot, you're just cooked most of the time. I feel,
true.
especially
Yeah,
with all
You
the
need that dash
healing in the
reset.
game, like the sustain. You know,
The mobility, the invincibility, lamp, Suzu, CCs, chains,
mm-hmm.
Roadhog hook.
That's why I
I
really
Everything.
think
like what Jaw
Onron
said.
invincibility.
Exactly.
Onron damages you while she's like invincible. Like, hello?
Iframe.
Hello? Like,
yeah. Aron is low key 100 no. I think like a matchup like that should not be like as oppressive, but like
no, yeah, for sure.
even maybe a cleanse effect. I don't know. Like maybe for example, like if Smoke Bomb also kind of had a sort of self cleanse effect, you could still let Genji out of it,
Quick hit,
and
do
he'll
bleed.
cleanse
I
himself,
don't
but he's
mind
not gonna
that.
be invincible or something. So even if he presses like I don't know, like R and R, or like I don't know, like an extra like his extra ability button to use Smoke Bomb, like right, you use Smoke Bomb, and
Right.
it doesn't heal you obviously at all, it just like cleanses you. You could still get punished for using your ability. You can still get shot out of
Mm,
it. You could just cleanse the effects on you. For example, if you get antied, it lets you be more self-sufficient. Because every other DPS has, for example, like Ana, like playing against an Ana matchup. If the Ana antis you as Genji, bro, you're gonna get blown up. There's nothing,
oh,
and
it's
there's
game
nothing
over.
you could do about it unless you have dash. But by that point, like by the time Ana's like antied you, you've already committed dash to engage onto her. So you need something to get out. You won't have anything to get out. Your deflex aren't gonna do shit. There's definitely gonna be a caster who's gonna shoot it like a nade above your head. An anti plus a nade is gonna be more than enough to kill you. So something like, for
So,
example, like Ash has Coach Gun. She can easily get out, and she doesn't really need to engage either. Cass has Roll. Onron can easily get out if she wants to by pressing E. Like every other DPS in the game has a response to negative effects besides Genji.
Yeah, and that goes back into what I said about like the struggle with engaging in Genji. There's only so many different cooldowns you can bait. So even if you do wait out on a nade, like you said, cast nades coming at you, double nade, chain, etc.
Yeah. So having like for example smoke bomb perk that also like cleanses would be nice, and you can still shoot him out of it.
Would
It's
it
not like it's invincible.
replace something, or would it be another ability?
Which
It would be an
one?
extra ability.
It would be like an extra ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would
Okay.
it replace? If you wanted it to replace deflect,
No,
you're gonna have
Deflect,
to give
yeah.
it.
no, that's
At that
that's
point, you may as
stayed.
well. Well,
You'd have to make
if you
it.
want smoke bomb to replace deflect, you're gonna have to give it like similar properties. So, for example, it would actually have invincibility frames at the beginning of smoke bomb. So you
Yeah.
smoke bomb, you have slight invincibility that also heals you. It's like basically like a mini Kiriko Suzu that also makes you invisible. You know,
Right.
so then yeah, it's like it feels like a better deflect. It's not like where you're still out in the open with deflect. You're trading the ability to deflect projectiles and whatever for an ability that you can actually use to get out, like kind of like tracer recall, but
Mm.
it's just manual.
I
I like
definitely feel like
the
Dragon Strike melee could be a minor. I'm not even gonna hold you. And then Smoke Bomb a
When
I
are you gonna
like
major.
the
shoot like a
life
mini
steal
dragon
stuff
with
though.
melee?
Yeah, because like I said, that extra kill move, which Cass is already deadly on top of what he has, he gets to double nade with his minor, and so Genji should definitely become more deadlier off of his minor perk.
I
If they're just not
mean,
gonna buff his damage, which it seems like it's never gonna happen.
that's more like kind of an extra ability more so than it is like because the thing is with cast nade is the fact that like it changes the nade itself, right? It makes like the I think bottom nade do 30% less damage. The above one does 60% of his damage, you know. But like if we because the thing is like all minor perks in the game don't give you like an extra ability. I don't think there's a single minor perk in the game that gives you an extra ability like that. So that's why I think it would make sense for it to be like, oh yeah, would you either want like to keep your deflect, but throw out like a mini dragon as a major, that you can use to engage off of, or do you want more like healing consistency by having like smoke bomb that also cleanses you that replaces your deflect, and it makes you invisible for 3 seconds.
Cleanse with the smoke would be insane.
I honestly
That
Yeah,
don't
would
but
think
be
that's
so
not. But you
because
could still shoot
you
it.
just
The thing
commit
is,
so
after the
much.
cleanse effect is over, you could still shoot him even while invisible.
mm,
So if you predict movement against you, like for example, sometimes I predict movement a Sabra while she's invisible, and I sometimes kill her. It's like that. You could predict
To make it to
movement
where you
against you,
can cancel ult to keep your ult bar low.
but and of course there's gonna be like a very short invis
That's not a
too.
bad
So
idea in my opinion.
it seems fair compared to what every other character in the game has.
let's talk about lifesteal. I like the lifesteal on base kit, but it would have to be nerfed a little bit. And his melee lifesteals as well. So his blade and his melee lifesteals. But not a crazy amount. Like maybe a percentage or like I don't know. You know what I
Twenty
mean?
percent seems like a healthy number. Like 20% of melee's damage heals you. So melee does like what 25 damage or something. When you
Yeah, that'd be
melee,
like
it would be like 10, 8, a little bit less than 10 HP, like 7 HP.
that on top of meditation.
That on top of
I
yeah,
think it'd be kind
exactly.
of a cool little like combo for
And you
tankiness.
have it on top of like blade, which is 120. So 20% of 120 is like
Blade does
I
110.
think it's like 40, 40. You heal like 40
Jack said
HP.
what's up, Jaw, by the way.
Yo, what's up, Jax? Love you, bro. But yeah, like that would make sense. As like a minor, that would be nice. But then there's also like if Genji has too much like for example like if he has something where he gets like a bunch of things for his perks because most of the characters in the game it mostly changes like one thing about an ability or one thing about the kit. If we have something changing like melee and blade, and then you have something
I
like
want to get you
smoke
perk
which gives you
discussion.
cleanse, slight invincibility and invisibility too. Like if he has all of that, like I think that's gonna make him a lot more prone to power creep. Where he's either
Mm,
gonna be like he's gonna have the
that's what I'm
Roadhog
saying.
syndrome of being too much or too little.
Too
Like
much,
Roadhog is
yeah.
really good because he has his own self heal that also has mitigation.
Right.
So yeah. But I really do like the ability, like a smoke bomb ability would be really nice though. Like,
Okay, the projectile though off the Dragon Blade would be
No,
amazing.
we're just discussing what perks we'd like to
yeah,
see
that would be
added
like a
That'd
to
basic,
where's the
be
or not
just
basic, sorry,
Dragon.
like something like a minor perk or I don't know, major.
yeah, like even with Dragon Blade's already a little scary. It's probably one of the better ultimates in the game, don't get me wrong, but it's really easy to punish though too, I feel like. You know? You're
Yeah.
relying on movement basically. It's just movement. Other ults are like, this, that, whatever, like Cass is like basically indestructible while he's ulting, or like, Diva's basically like non-existent when she comes out of her mech, or like I don't know, dumb examples, but something to make it so I don't know. I like the projectile though. It gives a little bit more damage and like range.
Someone just brought up something interesting in the chat. They said they should also make it to where his deflect blocks beams, but only in ult, like dragon protection.
That's what I said. I was saying early, well, I didn't say it with you guys, I said it with a friend, but I was like, we need something that like lets him deflect beams, but like nothing crazy. I think that's a good balance though. While he's like
That's
his
not even a
ult,
bad
that's
idea.
probably a good.
Like for example, like for the first 3 seconds of your blade, you gain Dragon's Protection, where you gain 30% less damage, unstoppable, and yeah, that's fine. You gain unstoppable and 3 seconds of So basically, for the first 3 seconds of your ultimate, you have to get a kill. To gain value with your ultimate. If you don't get a kill, then you can get CC'd out of it or whatever. So I think that's fair. To like make a perk that does something like that.
I also like the idea of
Someone
being able to sheath it like post blade and keeping some ult charge, like a pump fake type of thing.
That's what a
I feel
commenter
like
just said to
that
me.
would be
Yeah,
pretty should probably be base kit because you're
Where you
committed
could do
pretty
I
an
forgot.
much.
Yeah,
annual sheath, where, for example, like if you have, so it would be based off of like percentage. So like blade is like how many seconds long? Like
Six
6 seconds long.
6 seconds.
Six
6 seconds,
seconds long.
right?
So for example, if you use like 3 seconds of it, and then you sheath it away, it goes to 50% all
That
charge.
that sounds not too bad
That's what
to
I'm
me.
saying.
You
There's
said you should get
there's
a
a way to
smaller
cancel
something.
the ult, and it gives him
No,
like a
I don't
buff
know
or something.
how. I That might be a bit broken.
Really?
You know what?
Because the problem is that if you use, for example, if it's based off of like seconds that you use it, and you use 1 second, that means when you can get one kill with, you can whip out blade, get a you can dash onto someone, whip out blade, dash like dash and then swing, because dash
Yeah.
swing does is more than enough to kill. So when you
Right.
do that combo and then you quickly sheath it away, which by the way, all that entire sequence takes like less than a second to do, and you sheath it away, you get 75% all charge back. So all you need to do is then finish off a tank. By the time you finish off that tank, or anyone, you shoot like anyone for like even like 5 seconds, you gain like 25% all charge off of nothing. So by the next fight, you already have your blade again that you can use to engage and get it do the same combo. I think that would make it way too broken.
Mm. I do like the idea of dragon protection during blade. Like maybe give him 100 armor upon popping blade. Too crazy?
Or put
100 armor.
give him unstoppable. Give him unstoppable and 30% like less. I think 30% less damage, or even 20% less damage. 20% less
I mean,
damage seems fair.
I don't mind being able to get slept during blade. I just feel like he's just not really too tanky during blade. That's my problem.
That's why you go unstoppable and mitigation.
Right.
I think that does seem fine. He can still take damage, obviously. It's not harder to
Hear
damage
me
him, and
out.
it also incentivizes to be patient. Instead of bots, like, like on a, like people just hear like Eugene, okay, okay, and like the second they hear the ultimate, they just like instantly press an ability. Just because they know the
Basically,
Genji's about to dive onto them. Like they do it off of instinct. You see that one clip on fucking TikTok with a Zen who just presses Q as soon as he hears the Genji ult? That's exactly what people do with their ult abilities. That's like a very low skill expression, and that should not happen.
right.
What do you think?
Well, I was thinking, big idea here. So basically, Genji gains two new abilities, right? Left ability, he takes off his left shoe, and right ability, he can take off his right shoe. Brings the grippers out, okay? All of a sudden, he can infinite climb because of that grip strength on his feet. You feel me? Ninja type shit. Thoughts?
Bro, are you just like having like an excuse to goon in Overwatch? Bro.
What
I'm
do we
not
think, chat?
I'm
What do we
not
think?
following that one. I can't lie.
Thoughts on Vendetta? We're not talking about Vendetta, bro. Get on my chat.
Talking about something about grippy feet, bro.
Like,
Like he's so
Jesus
brutal.
Christ. Mike, what the
I'm
fuck?
thinking
I mean, I
definitely
thought it
some
was a good idea.
overhealth, some especially overhealth because it's green and Genji's Dragon's green. Maybe like 100 overhealth for Blade when you pop, something like that, and increased movement speed. I'm just liking increased movement speed in general because I remember when they first did that initial perk test. If you guys remember the quick play hack, it initially was like the same abilities for pretty much everybody. There was like increased movement speed after eliminations or something, and something else. That was so peak on Genji. So that's what I was talking about my smoke bomb perk, that perk earlier. The increased movement speed and the silent footsteps. That just sounds absolutely peak to me.
Yeah, dude, Genji just in general needs more variety. Like every character in the game has variety when it comes to their perks, and they have decision. Genji doesn't. Like
Genji
it
is so
doesn't
tech heavy. Like,
matter. It genuinely doesn't matter what
Genji
perk you
is so
take,
tech heavy.
bro. And
Like,
it's like why, bro? Like his entire kit just outshines his perks alone, while
That's
every
really
other
after you get to
character,
kill.
their perks
Let's go.
outshine their
What's up,
kit.
Layla?
Silver Bullet outshines the like Cast Kid, like Road Detonation Ash outshines her kit. Like what else? The what's her name? Shion perk with like where she gets all the passives.
Dude, that'd be so
It
peak on
outshines
Genji.
her kit, bro. She gets ESP. She gets like a bunch of like, dude, gaining that many passives in all at once is pretty insane. But like Genji doesn't have that variety. He just has, oh, do you want to do like a tiny bit extra damage or a tiny bit extra heal? Like no,
yeah.
like he needs something that like that actually like gives him something like replacing deflect with like a smoke bomb for action for sustain, or if you want to go more of a damage route, the same way Cass has like he has like a sustain route and damage route. You have the roll heal, or you have silver bullet. Most people pick silver bullet because damage is better. Genji players will probably pick damage because damage is better. So maybe they would pick like the dragon melee, and they can actually hit like more consistent
What's up,
combos,
Volt?
which is what he needs. And he gains an ability that he can engage off of, just like many characters. And it's not like a crazy ability like Silver Bullet that just like does half of your HP, right? It is like a tiny portion of your HP. But when combined with his entire kit, it's like it works. It just works. Like and there
Yeah, this
are
person
they
said,
just don't want to experiment. They just don't want to experiment. They only want to experiment with such narrow mindset. Like, oh yeah, he's either gonna heal or do damage. Like no, like it's fine to
yeah,
give him a tiny extra ability, like, and then like adjust his entire kit based off of it. The same that's what they did with Cassidy.
this
They
guy
do that
said,
with Bastion too.
um,
Bastion form.
make acrobatics base kit, swift cuts ammo on melee, cancel blade, and pull out speed buff.
Dude, the swift
What do you
cuts with
think?
ammo
Thoughts?
reload would be so peak.
That's that's what I'm saying.
And make it work during ult.
Yes. Just little like I don't know.
I can't give up deflect though. I'm not trading deflect for nothing. That's gotta stay.
No, yeah.
I'm
Deflect
too
is just Genji. Like it's just
that's
such a
his
staple.
identity.
Would probably trade
But
deflect for the smoke bomb low key.
I would too, just because only because those are two very strong like escape abilities or like
I'm dropping
survivability
peak theme
abilities. Like you
screens
can't
fast,
have
but
two
you
of
said
those.
a lot of good
Unfortunately, you can't have
things.
deflect and smoke bomb. That would be insane. I like the idea, but
Bro, deflect is
um,
dude like for cast roll is better than Genji deflect because it's a burst of movement that you can instantly get
Powerful
out. Not
charges using
everyone
most
can compete with
speed.
burst
Every
of
rating
movement like
boost.
that. On top of that, him having mitigation, surviving many ultimates. Bro, if Genji tries to do even something
Yo, W
remotely like
follow.
that, he will get punished. There's like,
hmm,
dude, every character, well, yeah, every character in the game has like some sort of AOE or something to hit him through deflect. I don't think I can really think of a character that can't hit through Genji deflect.
like Hanzo can't.
Hanzo, I mean, technically, if you ricochet a bullet off a wall behind a Genji's back, which is
Widow.
actually, you know, Widow
Yeah,
has
that's
mines.
niche
If you
though.
step on a
Widow.
mines, Yeah, but still though, it's niche, but it happens. Like it happens randomly. Uh, and it shouldn't happen, right? Because none of the other characters in the game have to deal with that bullshit. Not even Trickster has to deal with that bullshit. Genji's the only character where dying to some bullshit jank like that is what oftentimes make him lose. Like he dies to more janky shit than you think. Like it's like
That's why I really don't think it
Right.
would matter too much if meditation was put in the base kit.
That's
I
fair.
just I just think that like that would all fall like into redundancy if Genji actually had real perks in general that he could pick. Whether he had the extra healing or not, if you like what matters is that you hit your combo with the dragon melee, for example. Like healing kind of falls into
Yep.
redundancy when he actually has something that's consistent. You know, it has like a much higher skill expression. Like it gives them buffs while also keeping like the people who want to play Genji on Genji. The people who just kind of started getting into Genji, they have a decision to either be hardcore grind it to him. It still keeps that loyal player base. It's not like people are going to start using Genji to counter swap. No, as far as I'm aware, unless someone's actually a Genji player, there's no one in the game. There's no one in on that plays Overwatch that actually uses Genji to counter swap. Like for example, if the enemy team is on double flyers, then I might be more inclined to go Cass. I've never played Cass, but Cass is just that much better. So I might be more inclined to play Cass. But like for example, if an enemy team is playing like I don't know Bash and Soldier, I'm not gonna go Genji to counterpick that. I'm gonna go like something maybe like Tracer or like Reaper or Onrun or something. Like something like that. I'm not gonna go Genji to counter that backline. Genji's gonna get blown up the second he gets caught lacking. So the only people that really play Genji are the Genji players themselves.
True, and the only person I can even think of in the slightest that he would slightly counter, but he still doesn't, is Widow. Because a good Widow
Yeah.
player is still gonna hit you like before you even get close, Especially if it's an open
Or wait
site
your
map like
deflect out.
Havana, Circuit. So yeah, he really doesn't. Nobody picks Genji to counter. They pick Genji to play him.
True.
Exactly. So when you give him real perks like that, it also kind of like incentivizes more people to actually use him as a real character. When you think about it, man, Genji's not that much of a real character. Like every other character in the game is used in some form
Somebody
as in
counters
counter
Hanzo.
swap. For example, if you want to blow up the tank, you might go Mei Bastion. If you want to like play hard poke, you're gonna go some form of hit scan. If you're gonna play Tive, why would you play Genji? You go Tracer Echo. There's like 100 different options beside Genji. But when you give him something actually useful, for example, like an invisible that you can engage off of a backline with, then it becomes, like a lot more team oriented. Where like, okay, my invisibility is wearing off in 3 seconds. Diva, come dive with me on the Ana. Invisibility wears off. You have the Ana Genji diving. Like actual coordination. That's what it was with what's her name, Sombra. Obviously, it's going to be significantly more limited to Sombra, so it's not like he can stay invisible and do whatever he wants. And there will be counterplays, but it gives him something that your team can work off
Very
of.
intellectual discussion.
Genji
We are
right
all
now,
very
he
passionate.
doesn't have anything for his team to work off of.
Facts.
If you have a cast on your team, you're gonna nade. You're gonna be like, oh, someone got naded. We're gonna jump him. If a Genji goes in like, yeah, I dashed onto someone, guys, get on him. But you did a 25 damage ability and you didn't do shit. So he doesn't
My
like
bad,
unless
Soup.
he
Let
actually
me go
has
ahead and
something
get rid of
useful,
that.
like smoke nade, where it's like, oh yeah, we can all jump in at once, or engage off of my nade ending, my smoke nade ending, like something like that would be sick.
Yeah, honestly, something to just increase his lethality and actually make him feel like a deadly cyber ninja, bro. Because he has deadly literally in his like kit descriptions. Deadly melee weapon. It is not a deadly melee weapon. They go. You getting shut down by any team who has a brain on everything, bro.
Bro,
Unless you
you're
maybe
getting
use it
hit
as
by a
solo.
fucking wet pool noodle. Like the like it's because he has so little resources. Because Genji has so little resources, he has to put himself at risk to get any value at all. When characters like Ash throws out fucking nade and just like they fire half the team, that those people are like permanently low for a little while nade is going off, and that gives your team a chance to engage. Genji doesn't have something like that. So if you gave him something like smoke nade, or maybe even like the melee dragon thing, like you throw out your dragon forward saying, "Oh, my dragon's going out, guys. Let's engage off of my dragon. Get it hitting like two people in the back." The dragon passes through two people, 25 damage on each. Then you dash in as Genji, and then you like have an ability to go off of. That's what I think, though.
Yeah.
So
Smoke nade would be like another just it's very defensive. So like Versa said in my chat, taking away deflect would take away like 50% of his lethality. He's
pretty
onto
bad.
something there.
however, you take 50% of his lethality. No, okay. Most of his lethality comes from people like right click dash, right click melee, like like the default Genji stuff. Like higher elo players will never shoot into Genji deflect. Let's be so for real here. They won't. Genji deflect, you're most of the time using it to get out.
Yeah,
You're not going to use deflect to engage. You're going to use deflect to engage in lower elo, maybe, right? So when you give a Genji, like, because if the deflect's going to be his escape tool, then people who want to play Genji as an actual dive hero have an escape tool, and that's Smoke Nade. It cleanses, it has slight invincibility at the beginning, like maybe like 0.1 seconds max, and then you can get out with it. 3 seconds of invisibility. It actually gives you an opportunity to be an assassin ninja.
right.
And that replacing deflect, I think, would be a good idea. But they just don't want to like experiment with the idea of giving him slightly extra things. When despite every other character in the game has something extra according to their perks.
I can't get rid of deflect. I need the deflect. I can't lie.
That's fine. Then you'll probably go like melee dragon or something. Maybe you won't, but I might. Then that creates variety, and that's good. That's healthy for the game. It creates distinct playstyles.
True.
Which is like what they're aiming for. Clearly, that's what they're aiming for by making like a heal deflect or a dash bleed below half HP. That's like clearly what they're aiming for, but it's not enough. It's just stat bonus. Every other character in the game has something that like additional to their kit. Genji's the only character that doesn't. The only thing that he might have is the melee one. But they like nerfed and gutted the melee one, and even though it's like like there's still like people who use it, and it still has its uses, it doesn't make it good.
What's even more unfortunate is they gutted the bleed kit that he had already. Like initially when it first came out, it was after you got a kill. If you dash somebody like before the timer went up, they would take that 25 damage, and I just don't really like how they have to be below half for you to get that extra 25 now. That was just so useful, and it would really help you chain. And chaining with Genji is like crack.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense to put that many conditions on a character that should have something to engage off of. Tracer has like she has one blink to engage, and she has she has 3 blinks in total.
I'm talking about
she can use one blink to engage, another blink to for movement, and then another blink to get out or press recall if she uses up all of her cooldowns too much. Like she has always something. Honestly, Genji has 2 abilities, and that's it.
His ult is just useless if you don't pick the right one.
Every other character has some sort of response in addition to their abilities. Genji doesn't. He's way too committal for what he is. And that's fine if they want to make him a committal character, but they should double down and give him something a little extra. So not just the Genji would dive off of it, but like their entire team would be more incentivized to dive off of the Genji, whatever the Genji hits.
Not fast.
What if when he deflects a little smoke bomb? Nothing crazy, like I don't know. No, maybe not. That makes no sense because you're trying to deflect shots. You're gonna make it harder for them to hit you. I don't know.
Honestly, just anything to help with his lethality and his like ninja aspect. That's just completely unexplored in my opinion. And he's just doled down to eating the scraps off of other heroes. Like if you see somebody get silver bulleted, your mouth is drooling as against you because that might be a kill. I might be able to get the extra 25 if I got my major perk. So I hate having to live off of other people's success. Like I want to be able to have my own individual agency as a Genji player. And initiate and actually make plays instead of just be reduced to poke slop when I'm a dive character.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying. I mean, like, dude, if they like, it's fine to poke as Genji, but he needs to do something eventually. So they need to give him a perk that actually allows him to like rewards him from like, if you're playing slow to play for an ability, that's fine. The same way a cast player would play like a lot safer poke till he has silver bullet, and when he has silver bullet, he's gonna push up a little bit more to get like an actual hit. It should be the same thing with Genji. Genji's gonna sit back a little bit. He's not gonna engage with like no cooldowns. He's gonna play for his perk, and then he goes in with that perk, and that allows them to secure a kill the same way every other character can do that.
Nah, facts. Cause Cass literally gets 2 silver bullets back to back. That's insane lethality right there, especially if you
Really?
crit. Yeah, if he silver bullets you rolls, it gets like back off
He
cooldown. He
gets
could
on
use it
cooldown,
again.
yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised I didn't know
Like if you
that.
silver bullet, roll silver bullet, that's more than enough to kill people from like far away. Like even outside of your whatchamacallit, or your
At least
fallout
they
distance,
nerfed
you
the
can still kind of
projectile
kill.
size of Silver Bullet like by a
Yeah,
lot.
at least they did that.
So
But
It
that's like the
doesn't
bare minimum.
change
But
that
it's still gonna
much.
hit you in the
The
head.
damage, bro. Most of
it
the
does a
time, those
lot.
cast
I've
players are
noticed.
like most of the time those cast players are just gonna hit it anyway. Like
Yeah,
it
fair.
doesn't change as much as you think it does. Like it's for an ability of what it is. He just gains too much value off of it. Like it
In
just
my
like made it
opinion, it's
slightly less brain dead. That's
right,
all it
left. I
really
want to
did.
say that's what it is. Genuinely, yeah.
Did bro
Just
just bust?
we just need
No, I'm
something
just like reading
with
because I
the.
was like speaking for a long time.
I mean, Jaw, you're a pretty smart man. I mean, you know like, quite a bit about all the mechanics and like different perspectives of the heroes. So very good inputs here.
Yeah. Like for example, if we want to take another example, like Echo has three abilities, right? Fly, sticky, the the beam. Echo already has a bunch of abilities to her disposal. So giving her a stat increase, which is most of her perks do. Most of her perks give like a slight stat change and whatever. That's fine because she already has in base like a very nice kit. Genji has two moves, both of which can be completely CC'd out of. You get CC'd out of one move, bro, it's over. It doesn't even matter if you have deflect. If I get naded out of dash and I have to deflect right afterwards, deflect's not gonna get me out in the open while I'm still naded. Like, I'm gonna eat shit.
And I love that perspective you're bringing because guys, Jaws, Grandmaster, and he's very right. Good players aren't going to shoot deflect. They're going to shoot you one time, wait, because whenever I'm like going up against someone like who's playing Genji, but I'm on a different hero, I literally know how to bait. I know how to bait deflect. I know to not shoot deflect. I'm a Genji main. Like that just comes with it. So it just gets to a certain point where the only thing you're doing with deflect is stalling time. So I'd say maybe a change that they could add is maybe you reload during deflect. You gain a certain amount of ammo with it, or they need to make it more unpredictable at least, or something.
That's why unless they give him like something like that gives him like an additional like not it doesn't even really have to be an additional ability, something that
I mean, you
changes,
could buy one if you want the skin that
The
bad, but it's
reason
probably gonna be very
sorry.
expensive.
The reason ability changes mid game work is because for the entire first half, the enemy team is going to be playing around your deflect. But then suddenly you change to an ability that has nothing to do with deflect. You make yourself invisible, yada yada. So now the entire enemy team has to switch up. And that's fine because that's what creates adaptability. But when Genji is the same through and through, the enemy team runs one comp the entire game and hard rolls you. You know,
Nah, not really.
but characters like for example, Soldier. He has like an ability where he can just run even faster, easily get out of any dive situation. That thing is like a lot more insane than people make it out to be. Like having a faster run perk is pretty insane. And based on so for example, like if he has faster helix rockets, like he
Yo,
like
W
you're
follow,
gonna have to
appreciate that,
plan
man.
accordingly. Like if he has faster dash, then you're not gonna engage on the soldier as much. If he has a helix rockets, then you're gonna be more aware of the helix rockets, and you're gonna probably be like dashing onto him more, after he uses helix rockets. So Genji. It just makes no sense how Genji has to adapt in every way possible to the enemy team, while the enemy team can play one way. Then it doesn't matter what the Genji perks are, because they can just play one way and they'll work no matter what. So Genji should have that slight variation, which causes the enemy team to adapt.
Yeah, Genji's
That's
perks
why
pretty
power
much
creep is such
are
an issue on
nothing
Genji.
burgers. I agree.
That's why everyone talks about power creep on Genji. He just doesn't have anything compared to literally anyone else in the game.
50 hour Genji here. What's up, man?
It's if they just solve the issue by adding one single thing extra, like they have to really stop with the stat changes and make perks actual perks. Not like, yeah, you get a slight heal from because you pressed E, or like there's just no right option because intuitively having extra damage when
We
you
brought something up like
engage
that aspect. That's a
compared to
very good
healing
idea.
as you run away, you're bringing the same value.
Oh yeah, either
I
way.
think like you're either hardcore inting, which is very risky, or you're not inting at all and you're
Best
surviving,
perks, in my opinion,
which
are
is
Dragon
risky
Blade
because if you're
healing
not
and
doing
Blade twisting.
anything, then your team is not going to do anything. So what are you going to pick? You need something that actually has a proper balance and that kind of buffs it, but it also creates gameplay changes. For example, Cassidy Silver Bullet, like I keep bringing up. It's an intuitive gameplay change, and it's not like Genji where it's like, oh well, if you pick the perk, then you have to like,
Blade twisting, the
like
25 damage after you
there's
dash
always
a
some form of
low
counterplay
enemy.
to it. It's just like a straight up buff. For Genji, like if you have to pick, you're either gonna hardcore int, which is the good thing, or you're not gonna int at all, which isn't the good thing either because you're
Of course,
surviving
just
on a
pick whichever one's
on a
work for
dive
you.
character.
You can always play how like you want to play. That's
You're
just
playing
my
more for
opinion.
your survival than you are to actually do something. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. They just need something to for Genji to actually do like capitalize off of instead of just giving them like raw stat stuff.
Yeah,
I
man.
agree. You got anything to say, Mike?
Lots of good ideas. I'm not really good at. I'm not like cracked at the game or anything, so this is all very complex and hard to understand. But I can at least give you like ideas of what he could have, and it's hard to like
I don't know
take that
about
into
that nuke.
account of balancing against other heroes and this and that and how broken it might be or how detrimental it might be. But um, I think Genji just has a. I mean, I like the bleed. I know you like the bleed shadow. I know you love the bleed thing. Like, I would love to see him be like an on run, where you can have that bleed damage, that DOT, when you melee or when you dash them, or even like deflecting a shot back, any damage he does or whatever. But like, then the like Jaw mentions the power creep, like once you make Genji be someone, they're gonna want to make him not gonna, be at that level, like Roadhog. He's very zero to hero kind of deal. He's very useful when he's like, buffed a little bit. He's like very bad when they nerf him a little bit. So it's like it just sucks. And
Yeah.
Genji's very mechanical based, like he has abilities, but there's a lot of techie stuff you can do with Genji. It's not like Cass where you just shoot and you roll and whatever. Like there's not really much tech with Cass, I don't think. Um, and Cass is very anti-die. That's why I bring up, he's like very anti-Genji, whatever. But um,
At the same time with that, I feel that Genji should be allowed to be strong simply because not just anybody can pick him up and immediately like get value on him. Like he's so difficult to be consistent with. Like
he's
even the
months
best
and months.
Genjis have troubles. And I brought this up in a video recently. That's also why there's a big smurfing problem for Genjis. I see people complain about smurf Genjis all the time. Well, like I'm sure um Jaw knows this, and other champion and Grandmaster Genjis know this. The higher you go, the less useful he is majority of the time because there's just so many different heroes. Like you're playing the best players in the game. They've mastered like the Casses, the Tracers, the all that. So you're kind of literally just outgunned unless you're just that much better than them. Which is like how often is that?
Yeah. But like,
Mm.
dude, it just won't happen because the thing is that most of the people, even in higher elo, are gonna more so play with their lives than more than the Genji. See, the thing is that you're putting a character that has to hard int to get any sort of value on a team that thrives off of not inting.
Yeah, sustain.
His entire kit is just severely, it's too outdated for the game. Like the entire point of the game is basically like, oh yeah, we'll play off the engage. If we don't, if we can't properly get a kill or whatever, we'll like disengage. Like just live, just live. Genji can't. If he goes in, he has to stay in to get any sort of value. You need to have like godlike movement or godlike, cooldown
Oh
management.
yeah, yeah.
You need to play
Mobility.
borderline perfect, but he's the
Yeah.
only character that has to play like that to get any sort of value. That's why like I have such a big problem with his perks. The fact that you have to pick either between a deflect heal, which is for stability, but the thing is that you're not going to get any value if you're on that, right? And if anything, if you don't have the extra damage, because most Genjis prefer the extra damage, the fact that you don't have extra damage
All right, man.
to engage off of, that makes that like gives you even more of an incentive to hit your shots. And if you and you absolutely have to hit those headshots. But if you take like the bleeding one, then you'll have nothing to live with. So it's like you're putting like two extremities, and one of the extremities just doesn't really work properly in his kit, and the other one is just such a minor change, like I said, besides the nano blade. But even then, you need nano blade. You're not going to have a nano every game. It's just not consistent. I'll actually read Mike's chat real quick. Hold on. People are too obsessed with the fantasy of clips and Genji's potential to
He's real
realize
for that
the
though.
thing. Huh?
He's real for that comment. Yeah, that one that you just read. That's honestly really real.
Yeah.
You see like what is it? Alvacate? Alvacate's very chill, very like purposeful with everything, but he seems slow. Like you don't need to be like so he's kind of onto something. That's why I don't really like, I don't know.
Genji's Halo's holding space in zoning areas.
But
Dude,
people only see
any
highlights,
any
true.
sane person in high elo won't be mindful of the Genji spacing, bro. Let's be so for real. If the enemy team goes cast, and all that space that you're trying to make as Genji won't mean shit if he could just headshot you that space that you're trying to make.
Hmm.
You're cosmetic. And even then, even if you don't get headshot, the mere presence of a hit scan being able to decimate half of your HP, you know, at that point, your team also needs to play borderline perfect to make up because you're on a shitty character. Take the critical space high ground. Is it everything in this game? Bro, okay, bro. You're assuming as if every map has high ground. They don't. And some maps don't even have like first point high ground. Let me think. Like, for example, Havana. Where the hell are you gonna play on Havana? In order to play on the high ground in Havana, right? The high ground where all the hit scans are on as Genji, you're gonna have to let them push like halfway through the first point. That makes no sense. If you go like hit scan, right, you can prevent them from even getting to that halfway point. However, now that you're on Genji on like a map like Havana or even New Junks, no, not Junk
We're
City,
discussing Genji perks that we'd like to see
Junkertown,
added.
right? You're
Pretty
gonna
much
have
just
to
Genji
play
perks
on
in
some
general.
sort of high ground that there's nowhere near the payload. You're not gonna get value. The most value you're gonna get is your presence. But like in higher elo, people that are actually aware of your presence are gonna keep mindful of your positioning, but they're gonna keep looking straight. It's gonna be a 4v5 while you're trying to make space.
Hmm.
You need to use your dash and position and force them to acknowledge your presence. Why are you wasting abilities pre-fight? What if your team wants to go in, and by the time that happens, you don't
True.
have your abilities to go in with?
I feel like that's
True.
going
That's why
into
it's
what we literally
counterintuitive.
talked about earlier with the you have to int with Genji. That just sounds like inting right
Hmm.
there.
Initiate.
Exactly, that is borderline inting because you're using an ability, bro. If a Cassidy, if I'm like 500 meters away into their backline, they will chase me. That creates a stagger opportunity for them. Why wouldn't they chase me? I don't have any
This
abilities.
guy said you can communicate with your team. It's high elo, so you aren't doing that. It's a slower fight. True. That's fair, especially in
Let's be for
oh,
real, bro. Even people in champ won't listen to you. Like, trust me, I've seen demos lobbies. Yo, I see him like being like super frustrated because his tank is off
I
doing
watched
like
demo
fuck
today, by
almost
the way.
what. Yeah, I
Shout
was
out to
watching
demo.
demo too. Like, trust me, man. No, you don't even need to trust me. You can go watch a VOD yourself. In any elo, it's just like that. There's no like unless you're playing on a triple A team, or you guys have like near perfect communication, or like or you're the shot caller of the team. There will be that interference. You're not playing like robots where everyone can hard int that all at once and play with the Genji. That's not a factor, Genji. Yes, it is though, because Genji doesn't have those extra resources other character have to get out or engage. Every other character has non-committal engages. That's the problem, is that they have non-committal engages. Maybe the off angle, you're infinitely poking their enemy supports and force a mark on you. Dude, whatever you're trying to poke, they could reflect the poke back right back at you. You understand this, right? If you're trying to poke the enemy team and they Cassidy headshots you once, that poke, all that you just did means nothing. Because you have to back up because half of your HP is just gone.
Versa wants to join. Should we add him in?
Should we? I mean, Shadow, you want to add him in?
What do you think, Shadow?
You can do that.
Versus the
Okay,
one
bring him
who he helped with the tournament and stuff, with Kit Lover and stuff.
I'd be down to get another perspective. Let's go.
Versa, I think you're in my server, right? I'm here, bro. I'm listening. I'm getting my input here and there. I'm not as smart as y'all on Genji, so sorry I'm not really talking much, but
I'm just speaking based on like how I've played against Masters Divisions players, and even in Face It. Like I play in an esports setting. Like like intuitively you think it would be one way, but the hard reality is that it's not that way. Like in an ideal world, yeah, you take your eyes, like the entire enemy team is looking at you, but you don't know that. It could be only like one person marking you out. It could maybe be the entire backline marking you out. You'll never truly know. And one bad mistake from your team is enough to cost you the game and snowball. One snowball is all it takes. And you have to play. It doesn't even. Sometimes it doesn't even matter how you play on Genji. Yeah, let me show the link.
I gave him the link.
Okay.
I agree. He's just.
No, I'm not explaining how the game works, and rank is pretty irrelevant to what it is. But conceptually speaking, that's just how it is.
Debate. It's more of just
And
discussion.
like it should be there. I don't think someone sent the link.
I did.
What you brought up was a very good perspective, in my opinion, about the playing Genji. Might as well be like a 45. You might as well just be holding back your team on DPS because,
Like if you want it, like for example, like if you want to take the enemy team, like if you want the entire enemy team to actually look at you, you're gonna go something like Tracer. You're not gonna go Genji.
yep,
Viper's up.
much deadlier, has a recall, multiple dashes, great
Bring
ultimate,
Verse up, Mike.
I got
the
you,
charge is fast. Why pick Genji when you can pick Tracer?
Yo,
Sure.
what up?
What up, brother?
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
Good,
What's
good.
up? What you got to
On this
say?
fine evening, sir.
Take the lead.
No, okay. So, what do you want to talk about first? Deflect, or you want to talk about the positioning?
This is pretty much just like a perk discussion and like how certain perks would interact with the game and like a perk we'd like to see added. So, from what rank are you?
I'm GM all roles and GM one on Genji only.
Okay, guys. So
DPS
we
and I'm
we have a
not
great perspective right here. This guy's GM all roles. What are your thoughts on a perk that would help Genji in his current state? Or actually, let's start with your current thoughts on Genji's perks and like his state in the game, pretty much.
Well, I'm gonna give a little bit of context here. I think Genji's kit is complete. That's why the devs don't really want to give him an additional factor to his perks, right? If we take Cass into example, the very clear weakness of Cass's kit is his mobility. He has limited mobility. He gets that's why you don't see him much in pro play compared to Genji, even though he may seem stronger in ranked. I know ranked is pro play is different, but we're talking about the characters themselves. So
Ass is using pro play.
no, yeah, but it's a very niche pick. Like you can compare pick rates.
I don't know about that.
If we look at the pick rates across all seasons, I promise you Genji will be higher picked. I do watch
Genji's
a lot.
higher picked in general because Genji's just a more popular character.
We need
in
a stat check.
Naturally.
Popular characters that doesn't correlate to pro play. It's whatever's better and fits the meta
More so
more.
than you think. It's the same way Echo has been consistent, whether dog shit or good. Echo has been a consistent pick rate throughout pro play, even when she
Yeah,
was dog
stats to
shit.
show that. Sure, I'll believe it. But I need like sources of this. I can easily show you a bunch of proof of Genji in multiple comps across multiple seasons because he's been meta for those seasons. The reason why Genji's kit is, that's why I said Genji's kit's complete, is because even though, let's say, he's not exactly meta, he falls into so many comps because of how good his kit is. Like Queen, Orisa, you can do
I
Monkey,
don't think of
Ball.
it's how it's good of its
One
kit. I
reason
think it's
Genji has
how
carry potential,
versatile he
especially in final
is,
moments as
and how
fights.
his playstyle
I
can
mean,
be so versatile.
I feel like his carry
swapping
potential
between
has been like very
poke
watered
and
down.
dive, but that doesn't mean it's good. Him being
Why do you not think
versatile
this kit?
character
Why do you
doesn't
not
make
think
him a
this
good
kit?
character.
What makes you think that Genji's kit is not good? Let's start with that.
Because
Hmm.
everything you do has to be commitment. Any
Right.
character in the game that you can think about doesn't have to commit like Genji does.
Okay, so why does he have to commit? Explain to me, like, what makes him commit? Is it him
Because
dashing
of
in?
his abilities.
Okay, but who said that you should be engaging with your dash? Why don't you take a route, wall climb, go? Every high elo Genji will tell you that you should never engage with your dash. You have to find a way. That's why you poke
I'm
until
not
you
saying
find
you
a
have to
route.
engage off of your dash, but by the time you're taking those routes, the entire enemy team can plow in a 5v4. By the time
That
you
does
take
not
those routes,
happen because
it does.
okay,
It very much does. I
let's take
promise
this
you.
high elo setting. If they run your team has speed, they can kite back. Then they give up that map space, and you flip the map behind them. And then you have entire map space behind them. You poke them. You have a free engage set up on their supports. If they decide, if you go on an off angle, and I promise you 10 times you'll be marked in high elo because I literally play in high elo. I'm not
Yeah,
trying
of
to.
course. Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
you're
I'm
about to
aware
play
of that,
There's a
but
Valorant
that's
reason
also
console
bro,
versus
the
stream.
same
Triple mark,
thing.
yeah.
Facts.
to go
When
on the
aware players that play off of. Sorry.
I say if the optimal play every time is to let the Genji go on an off angle and high elo and bum rush the enemy team, they would do that. But there's a reason why anytime a player goes on an off angle is heavily marked. And that's why Tracer is essential in every single game. Because you need someone marking those off angles.
But that also makes what Genji's trying to do, like him trying to take a different path, kind of redundant. If the entire enemy team is aware of your positioning, what does it matter?
That's
If all it
everything.
takes
That's
is
the big
one
macro.
capacity to look behind you and headshot you once, everything that you just did up till then is thrown out the window.
If it was that simple, there would be no pro players going off angles. It sounds easy to say turn around and headshot, but if you're the Genji, why are you letting yourself get headshot there? You need to live. The whole point of playing Genji is to play your life. He can hold
But that
angles, and
requires
I mean, at the
that's
same
coordination
time,
between
pro
teams.
play is like a whole different area. They're
I'm
like
not
they
talking about pro
train
play. I'm talking about ranked.
together.
I do this all the time in ranked. I take off angles all the time. That's how I
Oh
play
no, I'm not
Genji.
saying off angles are redundant. I'm just talking about like how you said in pro play that means it would be dead. It's just a completely different environment right there. I feel like we are kind of
It
getting a
is, but
little bit off of
if we're going low elo, then it would be so easy. But if we're going high elo, like I'm just talking about high, like what are we catering our discussion to? Higher elo or lower elo? Like how
But
Genji?
no, but like I said, that's why I'm saying Elo is redundant because
Well, that's
regardless of
what I'm
the
saying.
fact
Because
that like
in lower elo, he doesn't get marked. He gets free angles on our support. No one's gonna turn around and headshot him low elo. In higher elo, he will get marked.
absolutely in high elo, like you're gonna get headshot by the cast. Who's not gonna headshot you as a cast in high elo? Or maybe on Ash,
Okay,
same thing. You know, she has abilities to get off of. Like she can take the space. She
that's
can.
such like
They
a
all can stay
one-dimensional
away from
argument
the
that he
angle
just
you're
turns
trying
around
to.
and gets headshot. That doesn't happen because a good Genji will not let themselves get headshot and still take that angle.
But that's not how
Like
it works. You don't decide whether you get headshot or not. It
you
doesn't
do,
work
you
like that.
reflect across important angles. Every single off angle will
Then you're
always have like
burning
that.
abilities. Then at that point, you're burning abilities when all it took them, like you're burning abilities while they didn't have to burn any abilities, and they
But you
can
took
use their
that
abilities
now
for
you have
anything
an
that
off angle
actually comes at
support.
them. There is no threat here. You're not a
The threat
threat
is
if
that
all you're
your
doing is
enemy
deflecting on an
supports
angle.
are now being threatened by the enemy Genji. Like it's
It's
just
not if all it takes is one person to look at you.
okay. So if let's go, let's do it. Give me a map. Just give me any map. I'll do a map based off yours. You want to do Havana, right?
Let me think.
Just do any
Take.
map.
Trying to think of one. Just take. Try to think of like a pretty well-rounded map.
I like to hear what he
I
says
could
about
also-
Havana. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure, Havana. Let's go with Havana.
Let's go Havana. Like everyone knows that's a map that's not strong for Genji, right?
Yes.
Let's
just
get an
preface
ass
that.
map.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're thinking about first point, right? Because that's realistically Genji's worst point.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So Havana, right? If we're starting on attack as Genji, no. Okay, first of all, you have a whole right side. If you
Yeah, of
dash in the
course.
first 2 seconds of the game, now you're on the right side. If you are the enemy Ash and you see a Genji on the left side, are you just gonna simply ignore that, knowing that he's gonna pick up the entire route up to the car?
No, of course not.
Of course not. So now you already see that in your head. There's a Genji I need to watch out for, and you that alone is called vision aggro, right? Now let's say I dash up high ground and I take the high ground. Now the enemy team is walking up forward, and you have a Genji who's shooting at you. And every time you look at a Genji, he's away, he's gone, and now he's running in closer.
But this is
So
you're
that's,
assuming that they're gonna let you get on the high ground at all.
then that's called being marked. That's your value right there. You have a free 1v1. If
Yeah,
you
I mean,
get
I guess
hit
you
by
are
two
pulling
people, that's a
attention
2v1.
off of like
No,
the
but
front
you're gonna
line.
get damaged while trying to dash onto the high ground. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna take some form of damage.
Okay.
You're not gonna be able to take that 1v1 as efficiently as you think it is.
Okay, so in every single example I gave you, you are talking about how the enemy team is stop you. What about your own team? They're gonna help you, are they not? In this
Yeah, one of
situation?
your supports would definitely need to be with you. Hopefully, a
But
Kiriko.
we're talking in like this specific 1v1 scenario. That's why I'm saying that like
If it's a 1v1 scenario,
in a case,
Genji has the
okay,
strongest 1v1.
because when you think about it, your team is such a 50-50 factor. Your entire enemy team is either gonna help you or they're gonna ignore you and spam down main. It's 50-50.
I mean, I wish I was on my computer so I can like actually go into the map and show this, but
Like if you went into an actual game right now and you were to do that on Havana, take the right side or whatever, I'm like sure that like 60% of the time your team will not notice your positioning. The most that will happen is your supports may be healing you if you try to get on the high ground. But like I
so
said, a good enough and aware enough DPS will prevent you from getting on that high ground at all by maybe spamming you out. For example, if you're playing against an Ashe on Havana, which is pretty likely, she might use fire on the corner of the
I
map,
would
you know?
definitely love to talk about that,
And
Kosari.
by then you're gonna have to burn an ability to either get away, or maybe if you have like a Kiriko by some miracle on your team that Suzu's you, that's Suzu gone. That's Suzu that they don't have for your tank, you know? Because you went on that angle and you're kind of sitting there doing nothing while taking passive damage.
why would I go in if I know Ash's Dynamite to clear me out? I'll wait for
Versa, your mic is, I don't know, something's going on
You're
with it.
really far from your mic.
All right, let me
Huh?
let me see.
All right, you sound good now. Oh,
Oh, bring it up.
try to get you over.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so you said that Ash has Dynamite to clear her out, right? Like certain cooldowns that can force you out from playing to your height and your angles, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, people are obsessed with the fantasy that Genji has to get value on every play. Like you don't have to do a play to get value. Like I said, vision aggro. So, in the meanwhile, this is why. Okay, I'm gonna press this. This is why. Again, this is nothing new pro play. This is why higher elo players or pro players get their ult within the first 40 seconds of the game, because while they're waiting for that chance to go on the off angle, they have built up 90% of blade, because what they're doing is they're actively poking and getting out cooldowns. Once the cooldowns are out, then they go for the off angle. So if I'm a Genji player and I see an Ashe have dynamite, of course I'm not gonna go off angle yet. I'm gonna wait for that dynamite and then I'm gonna go off angle. But then now they can't do anything about Genji at height.
Why would
And
you ever use cooldowns against a poking Genji? Like like an Ashe player, why would you?
okay,
When
okay,
you
so
have better poke. If your
why
poke is
would
just
they?
better
That
than
means they're
Genji's,
not
why
using
would
their
you?
dynamite for
Wait,
the
hold
entire
on, hold
fight.
on. Versa, I do have a quick question.
What's up?
You brought up that how you have to play a lot more pokey on Genji. Do you feel like his direction is going too much into poke instead of more of a dive playstyle? Do you feel like he's losing his identity?
Well, I don't think that, because there's a reason why he has a long range shuriken, a right hand short range shuriken for a reason. Like he literally has a shuriken that goes in a straight line for a reason. The devs did it on purpose. Like his identity is poking. At some point, you have to realize that he has a long range weapon built
Except
in.
that the shurikens are genuinely the most telegraphable thing ever. Like it,
Okay.
That just goes to show. I'm sorry.
that is
Like, I don't-
not. It's the easiest thing to dodge out of the way from.
Okay.
Like
It's not. That's why you have to predict him. It's like I said. A lot of Genjis just love the fantasy of just going in for clips, and they don't practice the key things like knowing how to do vision aggro, knowing how to take space, aiming your left clicks. There are so many like high elo, like I'm not gonna say high elo because masters isn't high elo in my opinion. There are so many masters and low GM players I've seen that cannot land any left clicks for like their life,
yeah,
and
that I
it's
know.
embarrassing.
But there's
But if you go
also the
against Star,
problem
if you watch Star play, you will see he's landing every single shuriken consistently on people who are literally pros, and this is in ranked. There, you can watch any VOD of Alki. We can put a VOD of Alki on Fauna. Like you will
when they're
see that.
out in the open, yes. But if the enemy, for example, Ashe, is on a high ground in Havana playing behind a wall, just occasionally peeking out, you know,
Okay,
like
so if they're on
she's
a
gonna
height,
time her peaks. So when she sees your shurikens pass by her, then she's gonna peek out and shoot.
okay, so that's already you limiting her poking, right?
But it's
You can't
not
do.
because she's just taking a slightly different angle so that the shurikens don't hit you. But she's still getting value because your tank is pushed up
If
and
she's
getting
playing
that
height
angle.
on Havana, right? First point. What? There's a clear, like, obvious pathway you can go. You can go dash under. You know what I'm talking about, right? The height. How there's like a balcony, and then under
Yes.
is. Yes. So if you dash there, what is she gonna think? There's a Genji below me. I'm probably gonna get diamond in a few seconds. Is Ash gonna stay there?
No.
No, she's gonna rotate because she has to think
No.
about the fact that Genji could dive her.
If you're gonna dash through the underground, that's dash wasted. All it takes is like one diva to look behind her and shoot you to death.
You think that dash gets wasted like if you use it once for anything? It doesn't get wasted. That's taking
I
space.
feel like it's
You're
a
thinking about it the
little
wrong
not
way.
too
You
You
take
crazy to say,
space just to
Kosuri.
die, and then after you die,
have-
it's gonna
that's
be a
why-
5v4.
deflick lasts long enough to get your help. If you're the one, if you're in front of your tank, everyone is looking at you. Am
But
I
they're
right?
not if you're so far into the off angle.
You're not
your
far
tank is
in because
playing
the car
main.
will get pushed up to the first corner. Every time on Havana, the car will always be at the first corner, and that's where it stops.
Unless
From there,
the
you
enemy
can
team
literally use your deflick
brawling
to
you
walk
that
on the ground.
close. That's the difference.
Okay, Versa. I
exactly
feel like
so
I
for that,
have like
yeah.
a good enough like view on like how you see Genji and how you see the game. So what as a perk would you like to see added? Like what do you think would be great for
Okay.
Genji, or what if you conjured up in your mind?
Okay. So I think that first of all, I was the one who suggested the Swift Cuts thing, right? Having ammo back on the melee. I mean that just promotes more usage and more aggressiveness, right? Like I said, he does
Mm-hmm.
obviously Genji is weak right now, right? It's not a lie. But I did say that there's multiple ways to play him, and you can find a way to play him in every single situation, unless you're getting straight up hard countered. If four people are hard countering on Genji, then you're doing your job because that means the rest of your team can swap. If they don't swap, then that's not on you. Like your teammates didn't want to swap, you guys lost the game, whatever. You did your job. But I think that Swift Cuts uh should get buffed and acrobatics should be base quit. And if we did need to change something, I would low-key take out meditation and do deflect beam as a
See,
major.
that's the problem is the fact that you're relying so hard on your teammates to swap or whatever.
Overwatch
Meanwhile,
is a
you
team
go
game.
someone like Tracer who can solo get value regardless of what your team comp is.
Okay, why does Tracer get value?
Because she has the abilities to get out, do whatever she
Okay,
needs
but
to, the
that same Ash
mobility
can
to.
headshot her and she'll get one tap. Genji can live a headshot from a mercy pocket. Let's say
The
that.
difference is that you can blink across and still have extra blinks. It takes a double blink across, and you can assess the situation
But
whether
you
it's
can get
something that
headshot
you can
once.
poke
The
out
Ash
of.
will just turn him headshot you once. Isn't that the argument you
Are
gave
you
me?
talking about
for
creative
Genji?
No,
creep?
it's not because you're not
Where's
on
Juno
cooldown on
Yams?
Tracer. The cooldown on
Okay, but
Tracer
what
is
if the
way
Ash
more
just turns on
consistent.
headshot Tracer?
Mm,
What if the Ash just headshots you and you're dead?
How is
Just
she
like
gonna
that.
headshot you if you've TP'd across?
That yeah. How is the Ash gonna headshot me if I deflect and walk across? It's the
Then you
same
wasted
concept.
deflect.
You didn't wait deflect because your setup is still staging. If you ask anybody what staging is, if you see a monk, that's why every low elo monkey player dies because they don't know how to stage. You're supposed to stage your dives.
Is that
You
a
stage one, stage two. You
Craig
go
the
height.
Creep
You
reference?
control an angle. That forces people to reposition. People won't stay still when you take it off angle because you're taking up map space. Map space is important in this game. If I stage my dive, I use my deflect, right? Okay, sure. If they come and try to mark me, that's Tim going all the way up the stairs and trying to fight me. I can take that 1v1 however I like, or I can dash out. And then my teammates can walk up because physically there's one less person on the enemy team, two less people. Like, and if they don't challenge me, then I just shoot their supports for free from a safe angle. If I go down the stairs on Havana from the height and I can see into their backline, the Ash has to physically move to see me. They cannot look at my teammates and look at me at the same time. That's called vision
They
aggro. It's
don't
called
need
speed.
to because that's the difference. Is the fact that the Ash can take 2 seconds to look at you, maybe get a hit on or two, right? And even if by some miracle she doesn't hit you, it's still a 4v4 on the enemy team.
It's not because I could take the same 2 sections that she took to look at me. I take half a second to move my A key to the left, and I'm out of her sight. It's that simple. Like I could literally pull up the Havana stairs
Okay,
right
and
now.
then what? And then what?
And then
After you
what?
move
If
out
she
of the way,
leaves me,
and
then I peek again and keep shooting her supports. The supports are half. The supports have
And
to
then
use
what happens if she fires you?
The
Sets you on
supports
fire,
have to
for
use her vital
example.
cooldowns. What do you say?
Huh? And what happens if she sets you on fire?
I'm not gonna die from that. I drop down and take the mini behind me. There's minis for a reason in off angles because the game is intended for you to take those off angles. They're there to support you. And even now that Genji has the 150 healing,
The enemy team.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that.
do
Let's talk
If
about
the
that.
enemy comps that you're on fire and you're deep into the enemy backline, you
Okay, but
will
why
get
would I?
a
Why would
five-man
I?
rush on.
Okay, see, that's like a game sense thing. Why
Wait,
would
hold
you
on,
put
hold
your?
on, hold
If
on,
you can
hold on,
hear the
hold
Ashe
on.
come,
I like having these multiple different perspectives, but Versa, you brought up when I brought up the purse. I wanted have you ever like thought about something that you personally thought of that wasn't already in the game? Because I would like to combine all of our perspectives on that one
you mean
now
like a brand
because
new perk?
we all have like commented, yeah, brand new perk. Like we all have commented across that, and I'm liking the extra perspective that we have in the live now. We could like reiterate that.
Well, I don't like the idea of adding something brand new into his kit. I like the idea of strengthening his kit. That's why I suggested like I don't think going into like smoke bombs and that stuff is ideal because there's no reason to. I think his deflect is perfect in my opinion, but
Fair.
uh, I just think that his perks just need some better like they just need to be more suited towards his needs. Like realistically, meditation isn't why like it's not gonna keep him alive just because there's cooldowns that and like teams that can kill him. That's like his major cooldown. So I just feel like those perks are all he really needs. Just like some switch ups and maybe like acrobatics base kit.
So
Okay.
the problem is with making him raw stat buffs is let's take another example. For example, like when you have like perks that just do that, you have characters like Roadhog
Buff
that have
soldier,
severe
really?
power creep. They're gonna be either too broken or too dog shit.
That's
That's
just a
literally
balance
what it
issue.
is with Genji.
Like
That there's no perfect balance. If you try to have such stat increases, you're gonna be
there
either
is though
too
because
strong.
the whole basis of Genji's melee perk is that you have to be in front of them. That's the weakness already in itself. You have to melee them in order to get value off that perk. It's a balanced perk in my opinion because that's why I take a blade perk 9 out of 10 times because even if that perk is so good, it still is too risky and in certain comps it doesn't work. Roadhog on the other hand, he has no shield and he has no mobility. That's why even though his perks sound strong, it's not what he needs. He would be stronger and better off with some sort of perk that covers his actual major weaknesses.
But your
Everyone thinks
blade
I
heal, the
think that
problem
him
with
one
blade
shotting
heal
is
is
a
it's too
complete unbalance.
conditional. Like blade heal, the problem with blade heal is that it doesn't change anything core. When you look at other perks in the game, they have core gameplay changes.
What does Dragon Blade need that you think? What do you think it
I feel like it's
needs?
not ridiculous to say that Genji is
Even
somewhat a
something
tickler
like
hero.
I don't know, for example, like you pop blade,
Two
it gives you
blades.
50 armor. I don't know.
2 swords.
Or your
That is
first
Alright, bro.
swing off of your blade gives you a projectile that deals,
Base kit
whatever.
or perk?
Huh?
Base kit or perk?
Blade heals so peaks at demo.
Perk.
Yeah,
So
bro. I
on
love Blade Heal, man. I get that every
I
time. It's just I've been trying to test out Swift
I
Clips
I would
would
lately,
not
but
take the armor
it's
over
too
like
risky,
Blade
just
Heal.
like Versa said. I feel like you're taking that risk, especially depending on the type of comp you're facing, a Cass, Hog, like you're gonna get fried. I said this when the perk first came out, I posted a YouTube video about it. And everybody thought I was crazy. So wait, Versa, did you hear that my smoke bomb perk that I talked about earlier? Were you here for that?
The smoke bomb, like just reiterate it again.
Okay, so
One more
my
time.
idea for a perk that I'd like to see added, I wanted it to be a major perk on like a 10-second cooldown. Where do you remember in the Genji cinematic with Hanzo, he threw that smoke bomb and vanished?
Uh-huh.
So I would like you to throw a smoke bomb and like you silence your footsteps, you get increased movement speed, and maybe even your ult is quiet. That might be too much. That might be too much, but I didn't say that last time. I've just been thinking about it in my head, but and you just get increased movement speed, silent footsteps after popping the smoke bomb. It's like on a 10-second cooldown. And I always feel like it would help with Genji's ninja side more because I feel like he's not really shown as a ninja. I feel like he's just most of his cybernetics side is showed like way more than that, and that's just like I feel like that also make him deadlier because I feel like he's really easy to like track, and he's like so loud. That's just what I thought of.
Right, you get 60 armor. But if you're going against 5 people and blading, the other perk is better, right?
Hmm.
If you're swinging 4 to 3 people at a time, you're getting more HP than 60 armor. So like that perk is it sounds good in theory, but like it's
Did I
just like
just lag?
imbalanced and just
It's
like
too conditional. That's the thing. It's whenever you blade. Blade isn't the kind of ability that you could just whip out and win a team fight win how every other ultimate can.
Jezzy,
and
I see what are you talking
How?
about, Jezzy?
because you wait for important cooldowns and you know when this is called timing.
Okay, but that you have to wait for important cooldown, so it's conditional. So we
That's
agree it's
every ult.
conditional.
Would
No, it's
you
not.
would Freya ult knowing that the Genji has deflect like the easiest deflect ever? I don't think I've ever
You're just
start
Replacement nunchucks is crazy. I think I'm lagging. I really think I'm lagging. What the heck? Guys, am I here or am I lagging?
An unexpected angle, but that's conditional. Other
Hello?
characters don't
Hello?
need to do that.
You lagging?
Okay, give me some characters then.
Okay, bro.
mean?
They
Appreciate you, Paul.
conditional. They're alts.
That are not conditional.
Mhm.
Let's say Brigalt.
Bro,
Okay,
was
Briggle.
my perk
Getting
even
rallied.
hurt?
Briggle,
Did I
that's
even
actually
tell this guy
overhealth.
my perk?
That in itself is a lot of value. On top of the
Okay,
Brig,
but
the
you
extra.
see how Briggle is
Blade
a
to two
squirrel,
shot,
right?
I
Like
agree.
it's not meant to kill.
At the
The
Masters, it's
reason it's supposed
unplayable.
to keep people
Facts.
up and does its
I feel like
job.
it's unplayable now,
When
but
did
maybe I just suck.
when was Blade
Okay.
ever kill 5?
Let's say Echo Alt then. Where you
Echo,
cut-
that's
where you
copy. It's
duplicate.
it's a
Yeah.
skill stealing alt. Like that's what is your condition? It was a condition. It is conditional Echo actually.
You have 5 people. You're in a 5v5 scenario, so for example, if you copy the enemy tank, you're
Hello?
gonna be
Hello?
like brawling the
Hello?
enemy tank to get your ultimate fast.
What's up, Shadow? I can hear you.
Guys, I am
can hear you, bro.
having very bad internet problems right now. I do not know what's going on. That's gonna be it
That's
for
okay.
me. I gotta see what's going on with this. I'm gonna put everybody's TikToks up here. Everybody shout your name. I'd like to shout out Mike, Jawbreaker, and Versa for coming up and having this discussion with me.
Yes, sir.
Much love, man. I'd love
Very
to do
fun.
something like this again. Hopefully when my
course.
internet's not tripping. But everybody drop your TikTok. I'm gonna put like a picture of it up. But just make sure that people can find you.
Yeah.
Just drop your app. Just say it right now. Holy crap, I'm lagging. I'm lagging something fierce right now, man.